Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the London Stadium. Now, if you have a listen, you can hear lawnmowers. If you have a longer listen, I'm getting dizzy now. If you have a longer listen, you'll be able to hear a similar atmosphere to what it was during the game. Now, I jest. I actually love this stadium. I got to cover the London Olympics for the Eastern Daily Press, which was an incredible experience for all 3-4 weeks, and I was in here a lot, including on Super Saturday. It was a very special time. So I think this is a magnificent place to do anything, but probably A, not to lose 2-0, and B, for some reason, no one can seem to get a good atmosphere out of this place. So there we go. Also, I'm not entirely sure how good the signal is. So hopefully this will hold up, but we will see. I will not make it the longest video verdict either, because it was quite predictable. I think, let's be honest here. Well, I'm always honest. What am I saying? Let's break it down. Norwich have lost 2-0. They conceded a goal just before half-time, which is a really soft goal because Aaron Cresswell's cross went over everyone's head. Soufal got the chance to put the ball back in, and it was a really nice ball back in. But there is no way that Jarrod Bowen should be beating Ben Gibson to the header to then head it past Tim Krul from a few yards. And no one will need to tell Ben Gibson that because you only have to see his reaction to realise he knows that he shouldn't have been beaten to that header. Likewise, he shouldn't have been out-muscled. He should have been stronger. It's obviously a hideous time to concede a goal. And up until that point, Norwich hadn't been too bad. It's all relative, but Norwich's performance was pretty good, and you just really want to see yourself in at half-time to give yourself then a chance after the break to raise the level and see what you can do, which both teams probably did ultimately. But to concede at that point just before was a real frustration. And, Norwich have scored 8 goals, still 8 goals in the Premier League all season, and only 4 from open play. This is a team where if they go a goal down, they are not convinced that they are going to get a goal back or score themselves. And that does show in really everything they're doing at the moment. So that's real disappointment. They then concede a second eventually. I thought West Ham always looked in pretty good control of the game. I thought there were maybe 1 or 2 moments where Norwich worried them. But they kind of rode those out and probably still look the more likely to be able to score again and make it look easier than Norwich do. Norwich make scoring at this level look quite hard work a lot of the time. Bowen got his second from a few yards out. It was a sort of a soft goal in terms of the space Norwich were giving up, but I suppose they were trying to chase the game a little bit themselves. And Max Aarons is a little bit unlucky because his toe is kind of playing Jarrod Bowen offside. It was given offside initially, but on replays, and I'm assuming on the lines they drew, not that we ever saw those lines properly, it always looked very tight. It looked like it could well be onside from the first point I saw it, and that was what was given by Simon Hooper in the end, and that was that really. So, we've seen some really awful performances from Norwich this season. This wasn't one of them. I thought Norwich, they had a brightness about them around the penalty area and in the final third, a willingness to move and a sharpness in approach and a purpose, really, I suppose, that they have been lacking. Timo Pukki was back. Milot Rashica started, which I expected, but he only kind of lasted 50 minutes, really, probably 55 minutes before his form started tailing off in his fitness. He just didn't have any more in the tank. The players who then came on were struggling to make an impact. Przemysław Pocheta was sort of in and out of the game, but showed some promising moments. And it was a team that looked like it had a lot of pace and the potential to cause trouble, and actually kind of rode out the weakness you feared they might have with just having Pierre Lesmelou and Kenny McLean as the 2 midfielders. Norwich did seem to give up a lot of space in front of their back four, but generally they dealt well with most of that. Excuse me, it's getting a bit cold and dry. So that wasn't as much of an issue as it maybe looked like it would be at times. But it's hard to judge what West Ham were doing, but what I would say is they were always doing enough. And sadly, if we were to get to the end of the season and want a game that summed up where Norwich are, this was them playing quite well and not really having enough ultimately. And that's probably that. But season's not over, all those sort of things. Point to make, I would say, is that Adam Eder, I thought, had one of his best games in a Norwich shirt. I thought he was really encouraging today, and he worked hard. He forced a brilliant save from Fabianski from his shot that Fabianski turned onto the post. But it was also the way Adam ran channels, held the ball up and linked play. I think there were still a couple of moments where he may have had a chance to shoot and opted against it, or took too long, or went for a chance to find a better chance, which is Dean Smith. He'd don't make a good chance better, just take the good chance. But that's obviously down to decision-making and experience. But I think you could see today why Adam, on that performance, let's see if you can work Adam and Teemu Pukki into the same side and do that. Because as a two, because Norwich played a 4-4-2 today, it was quite interesting. And I didn't think it produced a bad performance. It was just a West Ham team that are good. They're pushing for a top 5-6 finish, definitely, and European football. They probably got it in them. They actually here, their record is probably better against really good teams than it is poorer teams. And I think you could see that. I felt like they were struggling to get themselves up for it a bit. And again, this place is so dead, sadly, bizarrely, that I think that causes them maybe some issues with that. They lost here to Brentford and things like that. But today they had enough, and that was the key thing. But yeah, certainly encouragement. But I do think, sorry, my earpiece keeps falling. I certainly think that we are getting to the point where, I think Norwich have to beat Everton, and that obviously depends on how convinced you are that Norwich have a chance of staying up anyway. But I think we're at the point where Norwich could really do with 4 points from their next two games, and they probably definitely have to beat Watford away. Just through the sheer volume of needing points, because they're probably going to need to win 7 more games, and they've only got 18 left. So Norwich are probably going to have to go on their own run of European football form to achieve what they want to. Side issues tonight. No Josh Sargent. Josh Sargent has become a dad. So congratulations, Josh, and to the Sargents. That's lovely news. And I hope hope everyone's well, and it's been lovely. Good luck to you all. Hopefully Josh will be back come Saturday. And no Todd Campbell today. To break it down to the pure online or publicly uttered statements, Dean Smith said in his press yesterday that he expected Todd to train Tuesday and then be available for the game today. As it so happened, Todd went into Colney, but was still unwell, so was sent home. He went in and therefore not available for the game today. He went in today and did a bit of work and felt better. He's due to go back in as well Thursday and Friday, with the intention to be him being available for the game against Everton at Carrow Road on Saturday. As it stands, there's been no known contact about him going elsewhere, and he's still a Norwich player. So that's where we are in terms of the official lines. I think that's everything, other than a big congratulations for Max Aarons, who made his 150th Norwich appearance, which is a phenomenal record for a 22-year-old young man. So good on you, Max. Well done. I thought Brandon Williams did well today with some really nice driving runs. But across the team, we know the shortcomings, really. So there's no point reiterating them all. Let's see what we get at Everton. Enjoy the rest of your weeks. If you haven't taken in the On the Ball podcast from Monday and its return, make sure you clock it, because it's there for you to watch. And I will be at Carrow Road on Saturday, of course, checking with The Athletic. We're also doing live rooms, which are a bit like Twitter Spaces. So I'm starting to do those where you can quiz me audially. We've got all sorts of good plans for that. I'm going to make them a regular feature on Mondays on the Athletic app. So if you're a subscriber, definitely get involved with those. Keep an eye out on my tweets for links, but also turn your notifications on the Athletic app. But yeah, I think that's all. Have a lovely evening. It's only football. And I'll see you at the weekend. Take care of yourselves. And I shall sign off as the consummate professional that I am. Good evening.